What's up guys, Trey here.
And I'm Tony.
And this is Doing Visuals. Today we're about to hop into what's the hottest setup in our opinion for basically a budget camera and lens for 2020. So to start off, the first part of this video is going to be about the G85 from Panasonic, and the second part of this video is going to be about the lens, which is the 16mm by Sigma. So to start off with the G85, I'm gonna let Tony kind of hop that off. What is some of the biggest pros in your opinion about why the G85 is a good camera to start off with in 2020 if you're a budget filmmaker?
The price point, he got the camera used.
Yeah.
He bought it for $700, but it also came with the Nifty 50 and also the
Metabones.
But alone the body you could probably find for about like 4 to 5 depending.
Yeah.
So that on itself is actually a pretty good price for a camera. Now the camera itself shoots 4K.
Up to 30.
Which is really nice, you know, it's a 4K.
Yeah.
You can shoot in 4K.
That's all you need.
I definitely recommend recording in 4K if you want to get any zoom in shots like post camera.
It's just an editing tip. If you're gonna shoot in 4K, make sure your computer can handle it, because if you downscale and your computer can't handle it, it's not gonna let you render. I just ran into that issue, so that's a tip there. But
yeah, I mean, I'm running a 90 on my computer,
yeah.
So my GPU is, I mean, it's old, but it can still handle it a bit, and I got a decent amount of RAM to kind of handle the workload.
Yeah, 4K 30, 1080 up to 60 for $400 or $500. There's not too many other cameras that's doing that. The only, I would give an honorable mention to the Canon M50 if you're a Canon person, and if you're also more of a photographer than videographer, I would definitely recommend that camera. But if you're a hybrid shooter and more focused on video, this is definitely the setup for you. The only con, in my opinion, would be the autofocus. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't say it's reliable. You're gonna see me say in the clips that like the autofocus is bad, but it's not terrible. I think it's gonna hold up pretty well because we just did some test runs, and we're gonna show you right now the autofocus on the Steadicam that Tony has. It's a cheap one. Now here we go. Pretty much unlimited 4K recording, you know what I'm saying? And it basically runs until the battery runs out. And the battery life it's okay. Some people say it's great. I wouldn't say it's great, but
for the
G85, yeah, a lot of people say it's great. I don't think it's great. So I'm like, battery life could be a con. Like some people would be like, oh, it's great. I mean, it's good for what it is.
I think it depends on the batteries you get. If you get cheap out on batteries and you get like, you know, cheap batteries, then they're not gonna be great. But if you get like OEM batteries, probably.
Yeah, because those aren't even official?
No, the official battery that I do have, that one actually runs okay. It's not bad.
Yeah, so I would say the pros to this camera is you're getting a camera for the price point that's shooting 4K up to 30, 1080 up to 60, and really that's all you need. Don't even care about 120 frames. Also the fact that it has IBIS. Like I almost forgot that. Like we're talking about a camera at its price point that has IBIS. Don't quote me on this, but I don't even think the Canon M50 has IBIS, which is a big reason for video users specifically to get this camera over the Canon M50, which in my opinion is the only thing that's matching the price point. That is a crop sensor. I mean, we can mention it now.
So the G85 is a crop sensor. So if you're looking for lenses, like we're gonna speak for the 16mm, right? On a crop sensor, you're looking at maybe like a 30 to 32. Honestly, getting a 30mm, even on a full frame, is pretty good for all. It's a good all-arounder. For one thing, it's wide enough to get some good street photography, and it's also wide enough to get some to get close to the subject. If you have like a mic mounted on a camera, say using like a 50 on this camera makes it more like a 70, so you have to kind of push the camera super far back.
And crop factor, I would say, is the another kind, because I don't know about other crop sensor cameras, because the G85 is the only one I've owned, but it has a 2x crop. And I think some of them have like a 1.5, which is better, so that turns like a 16 to like a 24, 25. But to turn a 16 into like a 32, like that's a big crop factor.
Yeah,
so if that's not the standard, because like I'm not gonna act like I know all about the crop sensor cameras. I've only owned one. So to hop into the Sigma. What's some of the positives about the Sigma?
So the Sigma 16. So I've been using it. Just very recently got it. The autofocus on it is not too bad. I mean, a lot of people complain about the autofocus, and I'm not sure if it's because I haven't really had any other lens besides the 50. So having the 16mm has been pretty nice now, because it makes the camera like a 32, like a 30 to 32 millimeter. So I can get pretty close to my subjects. I sometimes like to run and gun with a mic on top. So if I need some audio and get up and close with it and still hear that nice crispy audio.
One thing I would like to note is the fact that it's 1.4. We're talking about a lens that you can get about, I think it's like, yeah, $300-400, probably more on the 400 range. But it's like you're getting down a lens that can open up to 1.4.
So much light coming through this lens.
Yeah.
I had no issues trying to take pictures at night. I mean, it's fucking 1.4.
Yeah.
Wow,
Another
that's
con,
high.
think about it, G85 at low light. Because it's not the lens, like when you try to shoot low light with the G85, it's a lot of noise. Even when you have something that can open up to 1.4.
To me, having a little noise is not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just like the look. Like even if you look at some old school films, you can tell there's some film grain there. It just overall looks nice. So depending on what you're looking for, I mean,
And style you
maybe you might not even care to remove all that noise. You just want to leave it in there, give it a good feel of the film itself.
And long as, even if it is at night, like if you're properly lighting your scenes, like if you're bringing stuff with you, you won't get that grain because you have your own lighting setup that is lighting the scene that you're shooting. But the biggest part about the 1.4 for me is that, so when you can go all the way down to 1.4, you're shooting sharpest at about 1.8, 2.0. That is a perfect range, in my opinion. So it's like, that's a positive, the fact that it opens up, the fact that it's wide as it is. When it's a 16, it's getting converted to a 32. It's a perfect street photography lens. In my personal opinion, I think the 35 millimeter range is the best for, if I could only have one focal length, I'd take a 35 because it's wide enough to get different landscapes and stuff like that. But it's close, it can get close enough to basically get up on a person, take a portrait and not make them look weird like a 24 or 25. So it's like, you get a lot of benefits if that's the only lens you got. So it's like that 16 being a 32, with it being your only lens, like that's what we're trying to kind of pitch it as. Like if you had to buy one lens, buy this lens because it can be your all-in-one lens. You can make it work. It's like when you can get this lens for 400, you can get a camera for about 400 or 500. That's $900. We'll even bump it up to 1,000, just at most. You're getting a good quality lens that you can make work as your all-in-one lens to start. And then you're getting a camera that can do everything you need, whether you're doing photography or videography, it works. So pretty much that's it. This is, we're gonna have links in the description to where you can get the camera or the lens. And yeah, if you guys think this is the choice for you, I hope we were able to help you out.
Peace. Peace.
Peace.